Howdy, this is Mackenzie Franklin from SideGame LLC here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Today we're going to be organizing the complete collection of Architects of the West Kingdom, designed by Shem Phillips and S.J. McDonald and published by Garphill Games. This is a fully sleeved copy of the game with no lid lift that's stored in the collector's box. It includes all of the expansion content, the Tome Saga content, all promo content, all inside of one box to get gameplay started as soon as possible. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please make sure that you do. It is the best way to help us grow. Let's get started organizing Architects of the West Kingdom. Before we begin, I want to make two quick comments. The first having to do with the Tome Saga. Now, the Tome Saga has a lot of shared components that work for the cooperative and solo modes for the different West Kingdom games, and we actually store them all in the Tome Saga box. But I will show you today how to store them into the collector's box here, so that way you have all of your Architect stuff in one place. The second thing I want to talk about has to do with the insert that comes in the collector's box. I do think this insert has some good ideas with resource wells down here, player components, as well as your coins, your different card slots, but unfortunately the large cards do not fit all into these areas when they're fully sleeved. All of your core game content will, but your solo cards will not fit into these wells if they are sleeved. I also prefer to have the resources in smaller bins to put by the depots that produce that type of resource, so whenever a player puts their worker in a space, they can collect the resources as well. When this video is over though, I do think I'm going to cut out this portion here of this insert, as I think it'll be a nice place to store all of the monuments, as well as the new pieces from the expansion, so I don't have to open up a bag. One less bag to open. All that being said, let's get started organizing Architects of the West Kingdom. We'll lift off that lid, and inside you'll see that we have all of the rulebooks for the game in the bottom left here. We got our base game rulebook, our solo rulebook and reference, Age of Artisans, and lastly the new Works of Wonders rulebook. Underneath that, we have our game board. And underneath that, we have all of our Tome Saga components, including all of those shared workers, and then the cards that are specific to the cooperative scenarios. You'll just stack those all so they're nice and flat here. On top of that, we have all of our components from Works of Wonder, just in a loose bag here, so you'll just pour them out onto the table and put them in their appropriate areas. In this upper right corner, we have our tax stand from the promo. You'll put your starting tax money here and place it on the appropriate spot on the board. All of your different player components. With the new expansion, you'll have one additional marker that you'll need to put in these small bags. Just toss them to the player that wants to be that color. And we'll have that for the 5 other characters in the game. To the left of the player components, we have all of our small cards. With the addition of the new Works of Wonder expansion, you're going to use all of the scroll cards, so you won't actually need to leave anything in the box here. Just grab them all at once. Very, very nice. For our small card sleeves, we use the clear mini European board game size. We use the Game Plus brand, but I'll leave a link in the description below for sleeves that you can use for your copy of the game. Up next, we have these Dollar Tree containers. You get them 10 for $1. I really like the way that the lid pops off of these. You put them underneath like so, and then you'll put them on their appropriate spots on the board. They're going to store all of your resources that you'll be accumulating throughout the game. We'll have component bins for bricks, and sticks, and rocks, and marble, and of course, gold. And our last container is going to store all of your coins for the game. You'll put that lid on the bottom here so it makes its own little tray, and it stores all of your metal coins perfectly. Put this next to the silversmith. We've got a silica gel packet in here for freshness, and then all of our large cards on the side. First off, we have all of our blue-backed Apprentice cards. You'll put those in their appropriate spots, and then all of your expansion content cards. These are going to be things that you'll need to populate the board with at the start of the game. Above those cards, we have all of your solo cards from the base game, as well as the new expansion, and a new solo counter that you'll need to play the new solo mode. We'll have this in a plastic bag here, because you'll only need it when you decide to play that solo mode. And in the upper left section here, we'll have all of your Age of Artisans cards with your adornments and tools, and lastly, your greenback cards here, your different buildings that you'll get to build. All of the larger cards are sleeved with standard American board game size sleeves. We use the GameGenic brand, but we'll make sure to leave a link in the description below for all of the things we talk about here. We have our ×5 multipliers and reminders for your different limitations and scoring criteria, and then our board that comes in the Age of Artisans expansion that's going to replace your normal Guildhall. We have the additional Tome Saga components, including your co-op scenario boards and the rules for it in general. Our additional game board for the Works of Wonder expansion. All of the different characters for the game with a reverse side that has the special power listed. Notice there's no color, so you can be any player color on this back side here. So it's for all of the different characters that come in those 3 expansions and promos. And then we've got all of your solo components for the new solo mode. And lastly, we have a laminated score pad and then a standard score pad. And that's everything for Architects of the West Kingdom. Let's go ahead and pack it up. First off, we'll put those score pads in the bottom left here, followed by our player boards and solo boards, as well as the Works of Wonder additional board. All of your Tome Saga components, your new Guildhall and your ×5 markers, our Age of Artisan cards and green cards in this upper left section, your coins and a silica gel packet, 4 resource containers, your Apprentice and expansion cards, your smaller cards, your solo components and 1 more resource bin, your Works of Wonder expansion tokens and all of your player pieces in that upper right corner. Just kind of pad them down like so, keep it nice and snug. Our cardboard tag stand, the rest of your Tome Saga components, the board, and then all of your rule books. And that is organizing Architects of the West Kingdom, the complete collector's box. Before we wrap up, I will go in one more time, as mentioned before, and I am going to remove those Tome Saga components. So that just means that the different Tome Saga cooperative scenario cards, the King's Storehouse overlay and small cards, those additional workers, as well as the Tome Saga boards and rules are all going to be removed. And we simply cover that back up with the game board and the rulebook. And that's how we organize our copy of Architects of the West Kingdom. If you have any questions about what you see here, please let me know down in the comments below. How do you organize your copy of Architects of the West Kingdom? Did you get the collector's box? Do you like the insert that comes with it? How are you enjoying the new expansion? We'd love to hear what you think. But thank you so much for watching. SideGame Strong.